Okay, guys, we're going to talk about one of the most debated topics in Fortnite. That is console players using a keyboard and mouse versus a controller. The peripheral debate, if you will. And it is obviously an advantage to plug in a keyboard and a mouse on your PlayStation 4. It's obvious, it is. It gives you basically the same realm with your peripherals that it would be on a PC. So, people are pretty hot about it because as of right now, when you go play on, we're just going to use PlayStation 4 as an example, if you're using a controller, you could potentially playing against somebody that is using a keyboard and mouse, but they're not on PC. They are on the same platform as you, which obviously is going to give them some sort of advantage. And up until this point, Epic Games has not made a difference. They haven't looked at this as different at all with the peripherals because they even have allowed in their big tournaments for hundreds of thousands of dollars people to plug in a keyboard, plug in a mouse, and play on console. We saw the whole thing with the iDrops Bodies guy and whether or not he was on keyboard mouse, and they stated that they can use whatever peripheral they want. Well, I think things are going to change, and I'm not knocking anybody that uses a keyboard mouse on PlayStation. If you're allowed to do it, go for it. My son Bryce does it. He plays on PC, but when he was streaming on my channel, he would go over to the PlayStation, he would plug in his keyboard and mouse, and he would go to town. And you could watch him. He's a pretty good builder, and he would have a distinct advantage against a lot of the console players that he was pitted against, because technically, he was pitted against console players, but he was kind of a PC player. Well, he was a PC player, but he was playing on console. And now it looks like this has gotten so heated that there are going to be some changes. So if you're a console player that has gotten accustomed to playing on keyboard and mouse, and you know you're getting matched up against controller players, those days are probably going to be gone very soon. So you guys can see it on the screen here. Nathan Mooney, the community manager at Epic Games, has put out a statement on their Fortnite BR on their Reddit, okay, regarding the use of keyboard and mouse on consoles. We're actually working on some matchmaking tech on that way that will pair you against folks based on your choice of peripherals. If you don't know what peripherals are, that means whether or not you want to use a controller or whether or not you want to use a keyboard and mouse or a Guitar Hero controller, whatever you want to use. More info on this coming later this week. But if you're on a keyboard and mouse, you will be going up against keyboard and mouse players. So they are not banning the keyboard and mouse from console, but what they are going to do is add another layer of matchmaking. So if you're on an Xbox or you're on a PlayStation 4, I don't even know if you can plug it into an Xbox. I'll just stick with PlayStation 4 because I know you can. If you're on a PlayStation 4 and you're using a keyboard and mouse, in the coming weeks, you will not be paired up against people that are using a PlayStation 4 controller. You will be in a different pool of other console players that are using the keyboard and mouse. Now, if this goes over into tournaments and it's that way for everything, I think this is the most fair and balanced way to handle this issue, to handle this debate. I think this is perfect. Now, if it's still going to be custom lobbies or things where there's certain people that are in these big tournaments and they're playing on console, yet they're playing on a keyboard and mouse and they get to pit themselves against people with a controller, I don't think that's fair. I really don't think that is fair because it is, I don't know if it's proven, but it's pretty obvious if you look and watch people play. For the most part, you are at a distinct disadvantage if you are using a controller as opposed to somebody that has all their hotkeys, has everything mapped out how they want to with their keyboard. So if this goes all the way through the system, I think this is absolutely perfect. They're not going to stop you from using your keyboard and mouse on a console, but they are going to make it where you are not playing basically cross-platform. I know you're on a console, but in all essence, it's cross-platform. You might as well be treated as a PC player for the most part, and you are going to be put in a pool of other people that are using a keyboard and mouse. This is a huge update. This is their answer to fix the problem, and I know they're probably looking at these big tournaments they're going to be doing and trying to get ahead of this before every tournament is won by a console player that's using a keyboard and mouse on these online tournaments, and they need to make some changes now, and that looks like exactly what they're going to do. So, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this is fair? Do you think they should ban the use of using other peripherals besides a controller on console, period? Are you the kind of person that says, hey, if you're playing on a PlayStation 4, you have to be using a PlayStation 4 controller, or you need to go play on PC? Or do you think this is a good middle ground to where everybody should be happy? Because, I mean, if you look at it, it's pretty obvious that you can get an advantage if you're using that on a console. And when you think console, you're kind of expected to be playing with a controller. And I know people will argue, well, you can use a SCUF on the controller. There's advantages there. You can use different things on your SCUF to be able to build faster. And you're absolutely right. You are. But I think there's still a level between a SCUF controller and a keyboard and mouse that has to be looked at and has to be addressed. And that is exactly what they are doing. So you guys, let me know what you think. Also, let me know what you think about all the leaks we got yesterday. Man, a Samsung Galaxy skin that basically cost you $1,000 in Fortnite. How many people do you think are going to go pre-order this new Samsung Galaxy Note 9 just to get the V-Bucks, 15,000 V-Bucks, and just to get this skin? This will be the most rare skin in Fortnite if this ends up being true, and I am curious to see how many people are actually going to go try to obtain this thing. And then when gifting comes, how are you going to do that? I'm honestly thinking about trying to figure out a way to get a couple of these myself at a cheaper rate somehow so I can store these Galaxy skins, and then when gifting comes, I can do a giveaway and give one of these freaking Galaxy skins to a Team Chaos member that didn't have the means or the money to go get the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. I don't like the fact that if it's true, it's a 30-day exclusive thing for Android if you pre-order. I get what they're doing. I understand, but I'm not really keen on it. But you guys, let me know what you think. Enjoy the rest of this Victory Royale with me and Joe. It's pretty entertaining, and I'll see you soon.